Hello everybody, this is Thorin Oakenshield from Keep It Simple, and today we are going to work through question from Specimen Paper Set 1 Edexcel. It's question 12. Sean drives from Manchester to Gretna Green. He drives an average speed of 50 miles per hour for the first 3 hours of his journey, so Manchester to Gretna. He then has 150 miles to drive to get to Gretna Green. Sean drives these 150 miles at an average speed of 30 miles per hour. He says that his average speed from Manchester to Gretna Green was 40 miles per hour. Is he right or is he wrong? You must show how you get your answer. Okay, there's a lot of information in this question, and when I get a question like this, I like to draw a diagram. I'm a visual learner, and diagram makes things clearer for me. So first things first, M for Manchester, and I'm going to draw a line going across. Our destination is Gretna, G for Gretna. Now we've been given some information. He drives at an average speed of 50 miles per hour for the first 3 hours of his journey. So let me split this journey into two parts. So the first part is there, second part is there. He then has 150 miles to drive to get to Gretna Green, and he drives 150 miles at an average speed of 30 miles per hour. Let's start adding this information to the little diagram that we've drawn here. So let's do it in a different color pen so we don't get confused. Let's use the red pen. His speed for the first part of the journey is 50 miles per hour. His time for the first part of the journey is 3 hours. Second part of his journey, he then has 150 miles to drive. So we have a distance. So let's just write the distance down here. So the second part of the journey, we have a distance of 150 miles. Let's just extend this line further. He drives these 150 miles at an average speed of 30 miles an hour. So his speed for this part of the journey is 30 miles per hour. We don't have the time. We might need to work it out. We have the distance for this part, and we don't have the distance for this part, so we might need to work that out. My average speed from Manchester to Gretna Green was 40 miles per hour. Is he right? So we need to work out the speed. So let's switch back to the blue pen. So to work out the speed, I'm just going to draw myself my knowledge. This is the knowledge I should have known before I attempted this question. So distance is equal to speed times time. I like to draw this little triangle to help me remember. Now the way you use this triangle is you cover up the variable you're trying to work out. In this case, we're trying to work out speed. So if I cover up S, it will give me D divided by T. Now for this journey, because there's two parts, it's going to be the overall distance. So the overall distance divided by the overall time. Now, do we have the overall distance? We have the distance for the second part of the journey is 150 miles. We don't have the distance for this part of the journey, so that's something that we need to try and calculate. Now if I cover up D, distance will give me speed times time, so speed times the time. Now I've got the speed, which is 50 miles per hour, times the time, which is 3 hours. That means our distance, 50 times 3, is 150 miles, because we have miles per hour and 3 hours. So we can write 150 miles. Let me just bring that down so we don't get confused. Okay, so we have the overall distance now. Do we have the overall time? We have the time for the first part of the journey, which is 3 hours. We don't have the time for the second part of the journey. So time, if we cover up T, will give me distance divided by speed. distance divided by speed. Now the distance for this part of the journey is 150, this 150 here, so it's going to be 150 miles divided by the speed, which is 30 miles per hour. Miles per hour. Let me just rub that out, that's not very clear. Okay, actually, it's okay, we'll just leave it as it is. So 150 divided by 30 will give me 5. And because it's miles and miles per hour, the units will be 5 hours. 5 hours. So we now have the overall time. 3 hours for the first part of the journey and 5 hours for the second part of the journey. So what we can now do is add the two parts together. So 3 plus 5 will give us 8. We can now substitute these values into this equation here. So the overall time was 8 hours and the overall speed, the overall distance, 150 plus 150 is 300. So 300 miles. So 300 divided by 8. So if I half it, I get 150. If I half it again, I get 75. And if I half it again, I get 37.5. Now the units is miles divided by hours, so it's going to be miles per hour. My average speed from Manchester to Gretna Green was 40 miles per hour. No, it was not shown. It was actually 37.5 miles per hour. Therefore, Sean is incorrect. His speed was 37.5 miles per hour. I hope this video was useful and you learned something. Please hit like and subscribe. This is Thorian Oakenshield from Keep It Simple, signing out.